Morning. Welcome to the Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple. Welcome to our 10th anniversary celebration today. We'll begin, before we begin, we are recording this, and if you don't want your image or your name, you can go up to you can hover your cursor over the image and go up to the corner, 3 little dots, and you can change your name. We will begin with the 3 refuges. I go to the Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go to refuge to the Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. The Heart Sutra. Dhamma prajna paramita hridaya sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion from the deep practice of prajna paramita perceived the emptiness of all 5 skandhas, and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Knowing the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharma, the radiant, peerless mantra, the utmost supreme mantra, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisvaha. The Maha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra.
Within the Heart Sutra, the phrase, the term prajna paramita can be translated as the perfection or wisdom or perfect understanding. That is what we have tried to do since our beginning 10 years ago. Come on up. We are going to celebrate today 10 years of sharing the Dharma with West Michigan. If you want to join us in singing happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, dear Sangha. Happy birthday to us.
And many more.
And many more. Thank you.
And if you're wondering, we are not going to partake of this cake right here because when we open, we're not going to be doing anything like that. And we're all fully vaccinated, but people are going to be taking home the cake today.
We'll be taking it home, yes. As I said, for 10 years, the Sangha, the Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple Sangha, has striven to discover, to teach, and to practice the Buddha Dharma. I always think of the words from the Dhammapada, from verse 183. Do the good, avoid the non-good, and purify your mind. This is the teachings of the Buddha. 10 years ago, yesterday, 10 years ago, on June 5th, 2011, the Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple opened its doors for our first Sunday service. In September of 2010, a monk who had been trained at the Muddy Waters Zen Center in Royal Oak here in Michigan, sent me an email asking if I'd be interested in helping establish a temple in Grand Rapids. He'd gotten my name from Fred Stella, who's the head of the West Michigan Interfaith Association. I was a member of their speakers bureau. I said yes, and we met several times at Global Infusion Coffee House on Diamond here in Grand Rapids. And we began talking about our vision of the temple. Early in 2011, he and I and several other people who he had contacted over the same period of time sat down in a Chinese restaurant in downtown Grand Rapids here on the Monroe Center. One of those people was Ko. Well, after some looking and decision making, we found a building and moved in. It was a small space on East Fulton, one door from the corner of Jefferson. We are at 156 between the Chinese buffet and the hot dog shop. Today, that place is a bikini wax establishment. We had a restaurant on each side of us. And the Chinese restaurant, no, the hot dog place, their oven is up against the wall where our shrine was. And we painted it, and the paint kept running off. We had to paint about 6 or 7 times because that wall was very warm. The paint just wouldn't dry. We didn't know what to expect that first Sunday. We didn't know if there was a great desire or what, but we realized immediately that first Sunday that space was too small. We had no idea how many people were going to come in, and that space was very limited in size. We also had a very limited budget, so we did the best we could. Now I say West Michigan, but people came that first day, and they have continued to come from all over the state. Image number 1, please. This is an image of us hanging the lamps for the Buddha's birthday. They show the size of the space. You can see both walls. They're very close. And I was standing just a few yards from the back wall. This just shows the size of the space. Image number 2, please. This is the image of the lamps after we had finished hanging them. And they're the same lamps that we have today in the temple. This just gives you a good size. I was ordained in this temple, and you just get an imagination of how small this is. There were 90 people at my ordination. We somehow got them all in there. We even sat as far as the windows. I don't think the fire marshal would have been too happy, but we did it. Even though it was small, we were able to teach the Dharma. We began classes, we had discussions, we had day retreats, days of mindfulness. We couldn't do a potluck, however, in this small space. Image number 3, please. Our first potluck was at the house of a Sangha member. That first year, we also started joining in on community activities. Number 4, please. This is our first time at the Pride celebration, our little booth, and this was held at Riverside Park. More and more people kept coming to the temple, and we needed bigger space. After an extensive search, we found our present location. This used to be, where we are now, was a Christian fundamentalist church, and it needed a lot of work to clean it up and to fix it. Number 5, please. You see, we hung the lamps, we cleaned the floor, we put a new floor down. The carpeting in the downstairs area had years of coffee spills on it, but everyone pitched in. Number 6, please. This is Aisha King. She did all the carving at the temple. She did at the front entrance, at the back entrance. She also made the table at the rear door. And she did that table by using no screws, no nails. When all the work was finished, we had a temple. Number 7, please. This is a precept ceremony in the new temple. This is not our first precept. I think it's about the third. But we were now a community, a growing community. Number 8, please. This is us at Easttown Art Fair. As we grew, we began reaching out, looking for other places to do retreats. Number 9, please. This is a retreat we held at Song in the Morning in the forest north of Gaylord. Number 10. Every year we had a preceptor class. This is the April 2015 class. You see it was pretty sizable. Number 11, please. We also had children's precept classes. This is something that we are hopefully going to be doing again real soon, once we find a qualified teacher for the children. Number 12, please. These are 2 of our most beloved Sangha members preparing their stoles for their precept ceremony. Number 13, please. Having it downstairs has given us a much needed room. We can have potlucks down there. We have days of retreat down there. But not everything at the temple has been gone along swimmingly. Number 14, please. I received a call in the spring, late summer of 2014, that there was a problem at the temple. I hurried down, and there was a police car and fire truck out front. I came to the back. I came in, and when I did, there was a car in the Dharma hall. If you look at that picture real close, you can see underneath what would be the driver's tire, there's the toilet from the north back restroom. And I think that's the sink under the passenger's wheel, I'm not sure. But I'll tell you, that moment for me was a teaching moment. Our minds try to make sense of the world. And when I came in the temple, the lights were off. There was a lot of light coming through there because the screens that are now behind me were over here. And so there was light coming in there, but there was more light than there should have been. And I walked up to the end of the dais, and I stood there, I'll bet you 8, 9 minutes before I realized there was a car in here. And the only thing I can think of is that it took me so long to recognize there was a car in here is because I wasn't expecting to see one. My mind wasn't ready for that. And I think of that often. There was another time when a friend and I were driving down the street, and there was a person on a mountain bike in front of us. And I said, boy, that girl has really long ponytail. And as we got closer, we could see this was a man by just the body build. But this man has a long ponytail. As we got closer, I realized it wasn't a ponytail. He had 2 Carhartt boots struck around his neck, hanging over his back. He was obviously going to work. But once again, it's my mind. My mind was not used to seeing shoes on someone's back. So it tried to do the best it could with that image. And that happens to us a lot. You know, legal people will tell you, lawyers, that an eyewitness is not always the best witness to have, because our opinions, our prejudice, our choices get in the way. And with this car, I never expected to see a car in this temple. There it was. Number 15, please. This is the temple from the front after they pulled the car out. The driver said she was struck by a car and spun into the temple. People on the street say she was texting. Either way, it ended up in the temple. We repaired the temple and we moved forward. Image 16, please. We move forward. 17, please. We had a lot of potlucks. 18, please. And there's more happy days coming. All through the changes, the car accident. We have tried to remain faithful to our goal of sharing the Dharma. The clergy, the board, and all the Sangha make this happen. The Buddha said, I teach dukkha, the cause of dukkha, and the ending of dukkha. For anyone who is new to the practice, the word dukkha can be translated as stress, anxiety, worry, suffering. That is what this temple is about, to help us understand where our dukkha, our stress, our anxiety comes from, and how to step away from it, to let it fall, to free ourselves of it. We have striven to be faithful to this great work which we began 10 years ago. And we all do this together. Please prepare yourself for meditation. It will be a guided meditation. Ashton, would you click that off the screen, please? That little sign there. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to share some readings from the Dhammapada. All that we are is a result of what we have thought. We are formed and molded by our thoughts. Those whose minds are shaped by selfish thoughts cause misery when they speak or act. Sorrow rolls over them as the wheels of a cart roll over the tracks of the bullock that draw it. All that we are is a result of what we have thought. We are formed and molded by our thoughts. Those whose minds are shaped by selfish thoughts, selfless thoughts, get joy whenever they speak or act. Joy follows them like the shadow that never leaves them. For hatred does not cease by hatred at any time. Hatred ceases by non-hatred. This is the eternal law. There are those who forget that death will come to all. For those who remember, quarrels come to an end. By oneself is evil done. By oneself one is injured. Do not do evil, and suffering will not come. Everyone has a choice to be pure or impure. No one can purify another. Do not find fault with others. Do not injure others, but live in accordance with the Dharma. Be moderate in eating and sleeping, and meditate on the highest. This sums up the teachings of the Buddhas. All efforts must be made by you. Buddhas only show the way. Follow this path and practice meditation. Go beyond the power of Mara. We bow. Stretch. Feel your blood moving. And we will recite our closing gathas. For all unstinted action ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born in my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the road of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma days without number,
I vow to penetrate. The great way of the Buddha I vow to attain.